Good morning.
Good morning.
Usually when I do a country, I look at see how they greet each other. And this time I wanted to check it out because I was told it's Salam Alaikum. Those of you who lived in the Gulf countries, I grew up in Kuwait, and I wanted to double check. Yes, in Palestine, the state of Palestine, Christians, Muslims, whoever lives there, they greet each other, Salam Alaikum, which means peace be with you. With this note, let us go on a short journey to the land of Palestine and listen to the voices of the Christian women. In this short presentation, I would like to focus on the following topics. History of this region, which is very interesting. Religions, historical sites, agriculture, women of Palestine, and this is the only topics I'm going to address in this short time. So let's sit back and start the journey. In looking at the history of this region, now I'm looking at Israel and when they were all together. It starts with the Assyrians, 800 years before Christ. They were followed by the Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, and many other empires, ending with the British in 1948. This is the time that State of Israel was created. What were some of the important events during these years? Under Babylonians, King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem and the temple built by Solomon. He took Zedekiah, the last king of Judea, as a captive to Babylon. Now move to the Roman Empire. Jesus was born and crucified during this empire. In 70 AD, I could use a little more light. In 70 AD, the Roman Empire destroyed the second Jewish temple. During 4th century, the Roman Emperor Constantine's mother came to Palestine and she became a Christian. All this time, we were going through persecutions. Constantine followed his mother's conversion, making Christianity the religion of the Roman Empire. With the end of the World War I in 1917, British ruled Palestine and Jordan till 1948. And on May 15, 1948, the State of Israel was created. In 1967, Israel military seized the Sinai, Golan Heights, as well as occupied East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza. There have been continuous clashes between Israel and Palestine all these years. However, Hamas's attack on October 7 ignited the present serious situation. Now let's look at it. Palestine is the home of 3 Abrahamic major religions, namely Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Look at the map of Palestine. You can see West Bank and Gaza. This is all we hear on the TV. West Bank is only the size of the state of Delaware, where I come from, and we are the second smallest state in this country, giving you an idea of how small it is. And Gaza is the the same size as the state of Detroit. So these are very small areas, but it's very, very largely populated. Palestine is where some of the important historical sites, biblical sites, like Bethlehem, River Jordan runs through it, Jericho, and Hebron. These are some of the sites in in Palestine, majority of the other sites, the major sites are in Israel. But when you go on a tour, you don't know where you are going. You just cross the borders. But I wanted to talk about what's in Palestine. First of all, this is the Church of Nativity. What happened there? This is where Jesus was born, the site of where Jesus was born. And if you go down, you will see a grotto, and this is where the cave that they claim that Jesus was born. So this is one of the most important sites, and it is in the state of Palestine. How many of you been to this church? Raise your hand. Yeah. Well, you are familiar with it. It's a beautiful place. Moving on, what is this place? Jericho. What does Jericho remind you of in the Bible? One person. The name would be Joshua. Remember? This is a place where they conquered as the first city of Canaan. And moving on, there is another very interesting place. Now this I had to Google. This is the Hebron cave, the cave of the patriarchs. This is where the entire Abraham's family is buried. Joseph and their wives and everything. And this is in the same area King David is buried. And this is, if you go down, if you go to the next slide, you can see this is what it looks like. I mean, it's not like a hole, like a well, but this is where they go in, and these people were buried there. And it's a very important site, again, for all the three religions. So some of these things are in the state of Palestine. Now, moving on to the next slide. What do you see here? What is that tree? What is the most, who grows, I know Greece is, but is, Palestine, that area grows lot of olive trees. What do you notice about that olive tree? How old do you think it is?
200 years.
Very, very old. Okay, olive trees can really be very old as 2,000, 3,000. This is from the Garden of Gethsemane. And we will talk more about it. Palestinians have tilled, sowed, planted, and harvested in the land of milk and honey. They have worked both large and small plots of earth, including gardens and orchards. Now, Palestinian women make up a majority of those doing agriculture. Have any reason why the women end up doing the agriculture? Because many of their husbands or family members are part of the, are in prison or have been killed or are part of the movement. And they are taken a position of protecting their children and homes. Back to the olive trees. They have a very important part in the life of the Palestinians. It's a symbol of deep roots, longevity, and a sustainable livelihood, because olive oil is a very big market, they can sell it. But we have a big problem. You can see an olive tree where they have collected the crop and they're all sitting around. In the month of October, sometimes trees outgrow generations. Everybody comes back to the ancestral home. And when they do, they pick their olives. It's like a gathering with that tree, that much attachment to that tree. But they have a major problem in agriculture. You know what? Water is a very big problem. They don't have enough water. They have to buy water. Whatever water is available is not very good, and it's a big issue. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I wanted to focus on the women of Palestine. Most people think, in Middle Eastern countries, women kind of take a second role. No, these women are really up and going. The role of women in Palestine is active and influential. Palestinian women are steadfast, strong, and courageous. Palestinians place high value on education. 95% of children are enrolled in basic education, almost like Kerala. So even there are continually an exodus of Palestinian Christians to other countries. But they say they don't take anything with them, but they have education, so they can always find a job. Many Palestinians have prominent figures, politicians, everything, but I chose to introduce you 3 of them. This is journalist Shireen Abu Akleh. Now you might wonder why I chose her, because she was a well-respected journalist for the Al Jazeera news network. She was well known through the Arab world. She covered the Israel-Palestinian conflict for 25 years. Sadly, she was caught in the crossfires in May 2022 while reporting on an Israel-Hamas fight in the West Bank city of Jenin. She was a journalist, she was wearing her blue vest, and there is a lot of questions, and there is an international inquiry into why a journalist was shot, knowing that you don't touch a journalist. But she's remembered, she's a Christian woman. The next one is Hanan Al-Rub. She is the recipient of the prestigious Warki Global Award for Teachers. How many of you know the Warki Global Award? Do you know the Warki have a big educational system in the Gulf area? But this is established in UK, and they give out millions of dollars for education. And she received, guess how much money? $1 million. That's a big award living in Palestine. But this gave her an international recognition. And the reason she got it, she had developed programs for children who were in trauma living in these areas. And she has taken this money and created a non-governmental organization called Miracle Teaching. Moving on. This is artist Halma Aziz. She is a Palestinian Christian born in Gaza area, but she was raised in Germany. She goes in and out, and she had a lot of difficulty, with the war zone, but she's a very, very well-known artist. And I will go when I explain to you the next one. Move to the next slide. How many of you seen this? Look at your badge. There are 3 women sitting. They're wearing their traditional white veil and their dresses. And they're sitting under what tree? The olive tree. And because the olive tree is known for its strength, and the roots you can see that holds them up. But the most important part of this picture, can you figure out what they're wearing on their neck? Can anybody pick it up? Can you see a chain? You can see a chain. And look at it very carefully to see what it is. No. It is a key. And why do you think there is a key?
Key to generations.
Anybody can guess why they hang a tree? Anybody has any idea? The key is symbolizing wherever many of them had to leave their homes when they left the Israel part. they hold on to their keys. And wherever they are, they hand over those keys to the next generation. In the beginning, they all hoped they'd be back and they would have their keys. But at this point, with years gone by, the key is a symbol of passing their legacy, their culture, their memories of their homeland. So this is where I want to end. And there's one more slide coming up. No? Yeah. This is where I want to end up saying, the key is symbolizing heritage, tradition, and culture. We all have our own keys. We all have our own keys to what we pass to our children, especially if you are in a diaspora community. And this is what they hold with them. So in concluding, I would like to say, these women and men are still hopeful, the Christians. And like Achan said, we pray for peace in both the groups of people that are hurting each other. And as the number of Christians are dwindling in this part of the world, the Christians in all over the world, the Palestinian Christians, that we hope and pray that there'll be peace and they can continue on wherever they are. Thank you.